have a brief introduction about the coordinate geometry class 10. This is a xy plane. You are already introduced with this. You have made so many graphs in earlier classes. Okay, so this is a xy plane intersecting at point O, which is called origin. Coordinates are 0 0. Okay, now suppose there is a point xy in this plane, then this x is what? Its distance from the y-axis. Okay, and this y is what? Its distance from the x-axis. So distance from y-axis is called abscissa or x-coordinate, and distance from y is called ordinate or y-coordinate. Okay, this you have done in your 9th class. So just an introduction. X-coordinate or abscissa is the distance of a point from the y-axis, and here BP or OA equal to x. See, BP or OA both are x because they are just showing the distance of this point P from the y-axis, here A from the y-axis, and both are at the same distance from the y-axis. So these are value of will be x. Now for y-coordinate or ordinate, the distance of a point from the x-axis. So y-coordinate means this is the point y, its distance from the x-axis. This is called ordinate. So this PA or OB both are same, y value will be y. So I have written over here AP or OB equal to y. So this is all about the x-coordinate, abscissa, y-coordinate or ordinate. Okay, just a new terms to remember. Okay, now come to the distance formula, which is important for your class 10th. Okay, distance formula is nothing but the distance between any 2 points. So distance between the 2 points P and Q, coordinates of P is x1 y1 and coordinates of Q is x2 y2, is given by, this is the formula, square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. In other words, x2 minus x1 is nothing but difference of x coordinates whole square plus difference of y coordinate whole square and whole square root. Okay, so this is the distance formula. Now this result is nothing a magic, it is coming just by previous known logics. You can apply here in the xy plane. This is the xoy plane. P is a point, Q is a point, distance you have to find out. From the picture itself you can imagine that this distance is x2 minus x1 and this distance is y2 minus y1. So by Pythagoras theorem, square of PA square plus square of QA square will give you PQ square. So PQ you have to find out. So PQ will be under root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. And this x2 minus x1, how it is coming? This whole is x2 and this is smaller distance is x1. So this gap is x2 minus x1. Similarly here, this whole is y2. This is smaller is y1. So this is y2 minus y1. Okay, so in that way. So here in triangle APQ using Pythagoras theorem, as QAP is 90 degree, QAP is 90 degree, this one, because we have drawn it in such a way that PA is perpendicular to this line. Okay, then only it will be parallel to this, then only we can apply all these distances. So PQ square is QA square plus AP square. So AQ square is what? Y2 minus y1 whole square plus AP square is x2 minus x1 whole square. You just rearrange x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So PQ will be square root of all these things. Okay, this is the distance formula. Now come to the section formula. This is also important and derivation are not required, just for the reference I have given it. The coordinates of the P xy, which divides the segment joining the points A x1 y1 and B x2 y2 internally in the ratio m1 is to m2 r. Okay, will be P x1 comma y will be, this is the m1 x2 plus m2 x1 divided by m1 plus m2, and y coordinate will be m1 y2 plus m2 y1 divided by m1 plus m2. This by practice you will be able to remember. Simply you can understand that there is a point A and B, and there is a point P which divides this line m1 is to m2 ratio. So coordinates, how to remember? m1 into x2 plus m2 into x1 divided by m1 plus m2. For y coordinate, m1 into y2 plus m2 into y1 divided by m1 plus m2. Okay, now just see how we are getting this result. Now you know that this PAQ and BPC are similar triangles. Reason is Q and C is 90. Q and C is 90. And BPC and PAQ, see, BPC and PAQ are corresponding angles are equal. And when two angles are equal, third angle will always be equal. Okay. So by triple similarity, these triangles are similar. So corresponding ratio of the corresponding sides will also be equal. So AQ upon PC will be equal to AP upon PB equal to PQ upon BC. So just write AQ. What is AQ? X minus X1, because this is till here X and till here X1. So X minus X1. By PC, see PC. So till here it is X2 and till here it is X. So X2 minus X equal to AP by PB. AP upon PB, M1 upon M2. Okay. PQ upon BC. PQ. So till here it is Y and till here it is Y1. So Y minus Y1. And BC. So till here it is Y2 and till here it is Y. So Y2 minus Y. Okay. Now we use this and this relation. Afterwards, you will use this and this relation. So using these two relations, x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x equal to m1 upon m2 implies cross multiply. So m2 into x minus x1 equal to m1 x2 minus x. Open the brackets, m2x minus m2x1 equal to m1 x2 minus m1 x. So minus will come here, so it becomes plus m1 x. This will go there, it becomes plus m2 x1. That's all. X common, m2 plus m1 equal to, this is as it will remain as it is. So x is nothing but now m1 x2 plus m2 x1 divided by m2 plus m1. Similarly, you can get for the y also using these two relations. Y will be m1 y2 plus m2 y1 divided by m2 plus m1. Okay. Now if you put here k is to 1, ratio is m1 is to m2 becomes k is to 1. So wherever there is m1, you will write k. So k x2 plus x1, and in place of m2 you will write 1. So k x2 plus x1 divided by k plus 1, k by 2 plus y1 divided by k plus 1. Okay. And one more formula comes from this formula only, midpoint formula. That means when m1 and m2 both becomes 1 is to 1 ratio. So what do you see? 1 into x2 plus 1 into x1, that is x1 plus x2 divided by 1 plus 1. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Similarly, 1 into y2 plus 1 into y1 divided by 1 plus 1, that is y1 plus y2 by 2. This is the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula means you add two things, divide by 2. That's all. So we add x coordinates, divide by 2. We add y coordinates, divide by 2. This is mid formula. So these two formula are coming from this section formula only. Okay, thank you.